If you're a real estate agent and you're tired of cold calling, door knocking, and spending money on ads, then subscribe to this podcast. We discuss leveraging the power of YouTube for your real estate business and how these strategies earned us over $1 million in GCI our first year in real estate. My name is Levi Lascsak and my partner is Travis Plumb. Let's get started.
Well, let's get started, and don't want to keep anyone waiting. Let's get started. This is YouTube for Real Estate, and we are here joined with our Client Success Manager, Chrissy, and always working behind the scenes for us. And if you have any questions, this is an open discussion, guys. I love to have conversations with people on this stuff, so feel free to raise your hand, come up on stage, get the conversation started. I mean, we'll get the conversation started regardless, but anyways, just feel free, raise your hands. I know there's always some good questions from the audience, so we like to involve everyone as much as possible. So, Chrissy, do you hear me loud and clear? How am I sounding today? Good?
Sounds good.
Good. Okay. Well, you always you always got my back. So what's the topic of the day? Is there anything that's been coming up recently as far as questions?
Yeah, we've had a couple questions. One of those has been around the topic of scaling. I think a lot of people get really overwhelmed seeing kind of what we've built over the course of a year. So kind of just knowing where to start and how to effectively scale to be able to kind of get to the point that we are is something that a lot of people have been asking about.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's a great topic. I love that topic. And I was asked this recently. I was on a podcast last week, and they asked that that was really the first question. They're like, how do you do this? How do you go from where you went to where you are now? And the answer is the cliche answer, which is you eat an elephant one bite at a time. And everything that we've done has really been pieced together. By the way, we just, think about this. We closed our first transaction was just in April of 2021 last year from the channel. And right now we just passed up 100 million in production since then. So that's April, May. Yeah, I mean, that's really 13 months, which is absolutely crazy to think about. Now, here's the deal is we only closed 2 transactions in April. In May, we closed 3 transactions in 2021. And so, March of last year, 0 transactions. March of this year, we closed 35 in 1 month. So the thing is that it is the eat the elephant one bite at a time. Now, that's what I absolutely love about YouTube is the fact that you can grow accordingly. You can scale accordingly with your business. It is slow growth. At least for us, we did this organically. We're actually starting to test out some paid ad strategies right now as well, not directly to the channel because that's something that may be a topic for next week, Chrissy. So maybe we'll touch a little bit on that. But we did all of this over this last 13 months organically, and when you do that organically, it allows you to scale accordingly. So you think about it, you close 2 transactions, let's see, April of 2021. Okay, that's pretty much anybody should be able to handle 2 transactions in a month. And, for Travis and myself, this was also our first 2 transactions anyways. But so, moving in, getting into real estate, getting started, doing that, it allows you to walk through that. Then 3 transactions the following month. Okay, you just add one more to what you're doing. And the next month, March, April, let's see, April, May, June. June was 5 or 6 actually 5 transactions. I could pull up my notes, but I'm just going off of memory. I'm pretty sure it was 5 transactions. So we go from 2 to 3 to 5. And, so that's 3 months. Now, what we've done is also, because I do have a partner and Travis and I have worked on this together, is that we have paid ourselves the minimal amount this whole entire time for our living expenses. And so what that has also allowed us to do is to reinvest into our business. quite a bit. And that is our biggest expenditure, is reinvesting into our business. As far as in the beginning, it was systems and scaling. It was bringing on the right people. We have a real estate coach now from the Tom Ferry system, a teams coach, and Justin, who's a really good friend of ours now. And we started working with him in December because we wanted to scale even more, which that's allowed us to scale this year quite quickly. So that's a couple of things. So that's really kind of another topic, right? Is hire somebody. But the first hire we did was for our videographer, for the content creator, and Chrissy was really full. It became right after that. So Chrissy, for those that don't know, I've worked with over the past 3 years, probably 3 years plus. I originally found her on Fiverr, and and I thought she was way underpriced for her services on Fiverr, especially being American based. And so I reached out to her, and in my previous businesses, I just needed someone to like run social media, do some posts here or there, this and that. Basically, anything I ever asked Chrissy, can you do this? She would say, yeah, I can do that. Didn't matter what it was, video editing, blog writing, copywriting, emails, CRM management. The list goes on and on and on and on. It's like, I don't think she's ever said, no, I can't do that. So we've just been she's been contract work with me for over the last 3 years. But we also knew, she knew our business better than anyone else because she's been there since the beginning. So Chrissy started out as our main editor on the channel, and I paid her contract work for that in the beginning, until it got to the point to where we knew her skills were too valuable to just be working on editing our videos. And so we know that she's good at everything else. So it's like, where can we utilize her more effectively? And then also, what I didn't want is her to be distracted by other clients, which of course, and that's the same case with the videographer. The videographer, Alex, which some of you have probably met if you've been at an event or something like that. Alex did freelance work, worked for this person, that person, and would take on jobs here or there. And our question to him was, how much, how much to get you full time? How do we buy you out of your clients? Same question we asked Chrissy. How do we buy you out of your clients? What's going to be worthwhile to, drop the other clients you work with and just focus completely on us? So that's one way to do that is you start putting the people in place. And the thing is that you can't be afraid of, you need to hire sooner rather than later, and you need to do it probably before you even think you're ready or you think you can afford it. And this is something else, is that you've got to be willing to take a step back to possibly take 4 steps forward. And what I mean by that is that, are you willing to invest your money, your income, your what you have above what you've made on a transaction? Are you willing to turn around and reinvest that back into your business and live like you have been living? Because a lot of people make a move into this business and they're just, either struggling from a previous job, or they've been off of work for some time, or very very few people come into the business with just a ton of money on hand and patience, and all the bills are paid, and it's not a big deal, and whenever they get their first deal, that's okay. But a lot of people come in, they're either transitioning out of a job where they were probably living paycheck to paycheck, so therefore they're looking for more opportunity. They don't have a lot of savings, they've got to work fast. But that's the thing, is that if you've lived that way before, and you can come into money in real estate pretty quickly. I know a lot of people some people struggle to get that first deal or the first 2 deals or something like that, but other people can, knock out 3 deals sometimes within the first 30 or 60 days and make a significant amount more than they've made in a month time frame that they're used to making. And it's those choices and the decisions that you make, whenever that happens, of how your business is going to take off from there. So the thing is that from the very beginning, and this is what I've done, because I've owned my own business since 2014. It wasn't in real estate, but before that, I had my financial services business. I've always paid myself a salary, regardless. I don't care if I made 50,000 in a month or 10,000 in one month. My salary was the same, because that's that. And my job, what I felt my job was to keep my business count to the point to where I could pay my salary at least for a minimum of 6 months, out. So it's like, if I didn't have enough, I looked at my business account. If I didn't have enough to pay my salary over the next 6 months, I needed to work harder, needed to do something else. But also, if I needed to reinvest, that was the other thing. Okay, now if I have that 6 months, and your threshold could be different. Maybe it's 3 months. I would say anywhere from 3 to 6 months is a good rule of thumb to have in there for your salary. And then whatever is after that, because if you're leaving money in the bank right now, it's not making any money, it's losing money based on inflation. So if you're not reinvesting that into something, and let's say you want to pay yourself 10,000 a month, and you've got 40,000, or let's say you got 60,000 in there, and you got 40,000, you're like, okay, I'm good with the 4 month salary in there. I'm going to take that extra 20,000 and I'm going to put this into ad spend or editing budget, or build out my website or something like that. If you keep that mentality, I mean, those are the types of things that are going to help you scale accordingly. You're not going to save your way to wealth. Scared money don't make money, and it's reinvesting that capital to grow, and that's taking that step back to say, okay, I'm willing to still be broke on paper to reinvest into my business and grow the systems and the people that are needed to move forward from there. And so for us, it was, even though we really probably needed Chrissy sooner than Alex, we made the decision to hire Alex first, from a video standpoint, because we know content is king, right? Our whole business is built off of content, but we also wanted to move into luxury properties. We wanted to move into, Alex goes everywhere with us. So if we go to an event, anywhere, all these conferences, he's there capturing this. We're documenting everything now because, we just came from this conference in Vegas. We probably have more than 100 pieces of content easily from just a couple of days in that conference. Why? Because we were mic'd up the whole time, and Alex is right behind us the whole time. And the thing is that this was a video conference, and there was a lot of real estate agents there, and we got recognized, which is really cool. But on top of that, two different speakers, including one of them, Sean Cannell. For those that do know Sean Cannell, literally brought our channel up during the presentation in front of everybody. We had no idea he was going to do that, or Omar, the other speaker. They used our channel as examples in the middle of this video conference. Well over 1,000 people in there. I mean, Gary V's the keynote speaker, Alex Hermosi, Ryan Pineda, all the big, super big players on social and in business are there at this conference, and we're there to learn. But then, Sean Cannell. I mean, think about it. Think Media. This guy brings our channel up on stage, talks about us, uses us as an example. Next thing you know, we knew exactly who the real estate agents were at that conference, because they all came up to us right after that. At the next break, they all came right up to us, and every single one of them had questions, wanted to know more, wanted to know about our course. How do we, and Alex was right there to record everything. So just in those conversations, you think about it from a real standpoint, we literally got 100+ pieces of content, out of those 2 days that we were there. And we didn't have to do anything. We didn't have to sit down and record for 12 hours a day. We didn't have to time block for that. So that's how you scale. When you have the systems and processes, and not, now Alex is a person, but that's also a system if you think about it on the back end, because he's there working automatically. Like, I usually don't have to tell him. He's pretty good. He's usually right there on the ball. It's funny. We have this joke now because somebody spoke about it at a conference once about following the puck. You look at hockey players or even basketball. I mean, really, receivers, hockey players, basketball. I mean, you think about all that, but the term is following the puck. The best hockey players don't go where the puck is at. They go where the puck is going to be. And that's how they make these amazing shots and things like that. And so, Alex is a system if you look at that, because it's funny. we were at the conference. I stepped out of the room. Normally he'll go with me if I step out of the room, but I stepped out of the room and started talking, and he saw my mic, ringing or going, basically pinging his camera, and he jumped into action like a like a firefighter. And he was like, "Oh, got to go find Levi." Runs out of the room to come find me because he knows that I'm talking to somebody just based on that. So, but that is a byproduct of what we put into place. If we had not taken the time and the money, and he's expensive, by the way, a pricey guy, this guy. I mean, this guy's all about creme brulee and escargot and no, but he's, but that's the thing that is really a system. But now that we've done that, we can scale accordingly on that content for what we want to do to grow our real estate agent team. And that's how we can attract agents, is because we have that system and process. When you're doing it on the real estate side, just like when you do 2 transactions, then we did 3 transactions, then we did 5 transactions. Well, literally inside of 3 months, we do 150,000 in commissions in 3 months. You go from nothing, from zero of building the channel. Actually, I researching, and I tell this story. If you count the 2 months of researching I did, the month of filming, then the publishing, when you combine all of that, that's 7 months worth of work with zero return. I got paid zero in those first 7 months. But the following 3 months, when we close, 10 transactions for 150,000 in commissions, now all of a sudden we've got 150K, you know, in our pocket, okay, in 3 months. So this is where you have to make those choices and those decisions. Now, what did Travis and I pay ourselves? We, I'll just to throw it out there, we pay ourselves 10,000 a month each. That's it. But that's what pays the bills, does what we need to do, everything that we need to take care of as far as personal bills. It's really a minimal amount to each of us, but that's it. But so now, let's say over those 3 months, and I don't even think we paid ourselves the first month or two. But if you think about that, that would be $60,000 over that first 3 months. So total just in payroll for us. Now you minus that leaves $90,000 over that first 3 months. So that $90,000, now you have a choice. What are you going to do? Are you going to go buy the nice watch, the new shoes, all the stuff that doesn't appreciate or provide you any value necessarily? I mean, that's the thing that you got to look at. And so, but also reinvesting that money into something that's actually worthwhile, that can give you a return. Well, we're not doing any marketing, so we don't have money to spend on that. So it's like, okay, what do we have on the CRM? Who's our next hire? Who are we going to hire? That's really what it came down to, because we don't have an office at this point either. So we're doing this from our home, no marketing budget. I do it all with my iPhone. So it's not like we have an equipment list or equipment budget. I don't upgrade anything. I use a $20 selfie stick, a $150 microphone, and that's it. So I mean, we don't have equipment to buy, we don't have an office to pay the lease or anything like that. We don't, so nothing. So we have that money. So that's where we're like, okay, now who are we going to hire to put the right people in place? And so therefore you start making those decisions. But that's how you got to look at it. And when you have those strong months, I think it's most important to have yourself on that steady salary, because when you make 50,000 in a month, it doesn't matter. You're like, all right, sweet. I'm still going to pay myself 10,000. That's it. That's where I'm going to leave it. But the next month, if you only make 10,000 and it just covers your salary, you should still have your excess. But you don't want to leave it sitting around either, because right now in the bank, your money's not earning money in the bank. It's losing money based on inflation. And so what do you want to do? You want to reinvest. Now, could you buy a house or put down on? Yeah, you could, but is that really going to grow your business right now? And so I would look at, what can I reinvest into my business, and what can I move that towards, making that shift. And then not just Alex, then Chrissy, then we bring Chrissy on full time. Then it's like we bring on another VA full time. I had another VA that I had been doing some work with, and I asked her the same question. Hey, what does it take to get you full time? And because I know she worked with a couple of other people, and she was so happy, and that's the thing. Chrissy was happy too. Alex was happy. They were actually glad. They're like, look, we would rather work full time, you know, with one person than trying to juggle. I don't know. Chrissy was, you were probably juggling 10 clients at the time or so. And, that's a lot to do, and so, same thing with Alex. He's very happy as far as I know. And, but he was also, it's like he would do a gig here, do a gig there. And then all of a sudden, may not have a gig for a week or two, and so also there's, you're helping other people as well, create a little consistency and surety in their lives. And so, I think he's having a blast now, taking them all over the place. So, but that's the thing, is that we invested in people because we didn't have a marketing budget. We didn't have an office budget, anything like that. Now, now that we grew a team, that was the next step, is like, okay, now if we're going to grow a team to handle the business that's coming in, how do we bring on those agents, and then what do we offer, what do we provide to those agents? Well, with that, came an office, but now we got an office, and now we have, now we are starting to venture into some paid ads. These are some certain things we're testing, that we don't want to compromise the channel, and we don't want to inflate the channel, because if you run ads to a YouTube channel, you will get inflated subscribers and views, and that's something that I don't want. So it took me a while to figure out how to do that. And it was literally one of those in the shower moments where actually it was at a conference. And that's the reason we also go on these conferences. So that's another part of investing, is we've also reinvested into attending several conferences and video conferences, real estate conferences, masterminds, things like that. And we were actually just talking about it with our pod leaders this morning. Was probably bit off a little bit more than we could chew, because we've been traveling quite a bit. We've taken a step back, and this is something that they were discussing in a real estate room the other morning. Was, how's the market? Is the market shifting? Are you taking a hit? And everybody was saying, oh yeah, the market's shifting. Everyone keeps talking about the market. And here's my take on that, is that the market is the market, regardless. The market now you can call it an up market, you can call it a down market, you could call it a seller's market. Everybody's been calling this market for the past year a seller's market, but we've helped 175 buyers secure homes in a seller's market. So for us, it's been a buyer's market the whole time. It was just a matter of finding the right home for that buyer. So you can call it whatever you want. You can blame, we can blame things, or shift focus to it's the market. But we have seen a little dip in our transactions compared to the first 90 days of this year. We did 90 transactions in the first 90 days. This quarter, we may finish up around 60 or so maybe 30 less during this quarter. Now, June could be completely different, but I don't blame the market. I blame myself. And that's what I told the team this morning, or at least the pod leaders, is I was like, I'm going to blame myself. I'm taking responsibility, because I've been traveling the last 2 months. I've taken a step back to hopefully take 4 steps forward. So, I believe that's been the focus on the channel. Are the phone calls are not as much as they were, 60 days ago. Text and emails not as much as they were 60 days ago. But also my content has been down. Some of these weeks I've only published once a week. Now, we've still published every single week, but I haven't published, as I haven't done 2 or 3 videos a week like what I was doing whenever we were generating all that business. So I'm looking at myself and saying, okay, my content has been inconsistent, and this is what happens, as well. And as you build your channel, these are the things that you're going to have to protect. You're going to have to protect your content creation, period, because people will forget what got you here, won't necessarily get you there. So also, this is where we see most agents make this mistake with their channel, is they create the content, they stay consistent. As soon as they start working with clients and get busy, they let that be an excuse to stop the content. And if you stop the content, you'll stop the consistency. And that's where all of this came from in the first place. So for me, I told everybody this morning, I'm recommitting myself. I'm recommitting myself to the channel, to the content, to everything else. We will have 3 videos a week going out, period. And I spent this last weekend, Saturday. I recorded 4 videos on Saturday and 4 videos on Sunday. And we're going to start doing a live video once a week. So now I have 3 pieces of content for the whole entire month now. And I tell you what, feels good to be back on that schedule. And that's what I'm going to commit every 2 weeks to record a month's worth of content on a weekend. So is that working a weekend? Yeah, sure, absolutely. But I don't feel like we're at where we need to be. And we want to continue to grow this business. Plus, I want to make sure that we continually feed the team. I feel like we have an obligation to do that. So, I made those recommitments to get back to the 3 pieces of content. And, we're not going to let anybody in Dallas, because there has definitely been a lot of channels popping up. This is gaining traction. And for those that didn't start 6 months ago, if you start today, guess what? There's a couple extra channels in your backyard. And it's not just me. The reason that I'm trying to help people, because if it's not me helping someone, there's a few other people out there, teaching YouTube as well, and they're going to put people in your backyard. They're going to put people in your market. So if you don't take advantage of this now and the timing now, it is going to be more diluted, that market on YouTube, in the next 6, 12, 18 months. So those that want to capture it now, this is the time to do it. But going back to the scaling question, it's really, it's all comes down to decisions. I mean, really everything comes down to decisions, and you're only one decision away from changing everything. And you make decisions from really 2 places, I believe. You either make your decision when times are good, or you make a decision whenever when your back is against the wall, right? And now we've seen, and you've probably heard, some of the greatest triumphs and stories and return to glory from people that had to make decisions when all the odds were against them, or they hit rock bottom. Those types of situations, that's what makes, I believe, great people, great leaders, great stories, great success stories, is those people that get knocked down or fall to the bottom, and they have to, they're forced, at least they're forced in their mind to do it, and they achieve and overcome that. But some of us in this room are comfortable right now. And in my opinion, that's the best time to make a decision, to change what you want to change, when you're comfortable. You see, I'm uncomfortable whenever I'm comfortable, and I'm comfortable whenever I'm uncomfortable. So if I'm comfortable, that's usually a signal to me to say, I don't like this. I need to change something. I need to do something different, because if I'm comfortable, that means things are going too smooth and I need to shake things up. I need to rattle the tree. I need to get something going. If I'm uncomfortable, I know that I'm growing, I'm challenging myself, I'm moving towards something, I am working towards something. So that's, to me, when you're comfortable, that's the time to make a decision. Plus, you're probably in your best financial position at that time too, if you're comfortable. Like, you just closed 3 or 4 deals, you're on a high horse, you're feeling good. That's when people tend to relax. And to me, that's the exact time when you want to strike. I will say this, I haven't told anybody this, but we were making arrangements uh, to shift a significant portion of our business. We've been working on that over the last 2 months, and we were about 80 to 90% there of making this major change. And it came down to it where Travis and I both, were pretty in tune, and we were at this last video conference, in the middle of it. And I looked at him, and he literally said, "I know exactly what you're thinking." And I said, "Yeah, it's not the right time." And, you know, even though we had, put into place about 90% of this plan, because we've done this in a position of power, or a position where we're good, in a position where we made the choice to do that proactively, versus, we're in a hole or in a rut or trying to dig ourselves out of something. It cost us several $1,000s to implement this, and we're gonna kind of lose that. But we could have lost, who knows, $100,000 maybe moving forward or doing something else. But the thing is like because we're in a good position right now, we were able to start to work on a plan, make a major shift, realize that, you know what, it's a timing thing. This is not the right time. We need to, stop, reevaluate, and do something different. We were able to do that, and do it well, and it's not going to hurt our business. And so this is something else to where you're going to have to make those decisions. It's better to make them in times of abundance, when things are good, when you're feeling comfortable. I think that's the time to do that. So again, that goes into scaling. So if you have the excess, you're starting to close deals on a regular basis, your YouTube channel's popping off, your Instagram's popping off, whatever that case is, set yourself up on the minimum salary, what you need to. I'm not saying starve yourself to death and don't feed your kids. I'm just saying that, understand what does it take minimally for you to get by, but not starve your family. And just let them know. So, you got to have that conversation too. Hey, look, this is just, we're going to sacrifice a little bit now for the long run. Things are going to be much different in a year or two. So I just need to really reinvest this money and make this a priority to focus on this. And so, that's, to me, that's how you scale. Think about, it's who, not how. And, this is something that we ask ourselves now. We know we can do anything. Everybody in this room, you can do whatever you want. You can make the decision right now to completely change your business. Now, you may not reap the rewards of that for 3, 6, 9, or 12 months, but you have to start implementing something right now if you want to see, success from that in 6 months or 12. You have to start that today. Otherwise, the more you put it off, the longer it's going to delay on doing that. And so, these are the things that you have to implement, and you have to ask yourself these questions. And so, it's who, not how, because I truly believe that you can do whatever it is you want to do in your business right now. If you want to be the best postcard marketer real estate has ever seen, I believe you could do that, because guess what? There's a ton of books on this. There is a ton of YouTube videos on this. There is blogs written about this. You could look at other real estate agents' postcard can. I mean, and that's just a choice. It's your choice. Now, it may take you 6 or 12 months to become the most successful postcard marketer, but you could learn everything, I believe, within 30 to 60 days. I believe you can hyper learn any subject this day and age, whatever it is you want to learn. You buy 5 books on it. You watch 100 YouTube videos. You read 20 blogs, and you will learn postcard marketing, or YouTube, or Instagram, or whatever it is you want to be great at in real estate. I truly believe if you go all in and focus on that subject for the next 60 days, and I'm talking about no Netflix, no, very, very minimal recreational time. I mean, just takes all your free time as much as possible. I know you got time with the family and things like that, but you just make any ounce of free time. Podcast. Every time you're driving, you download every single podcast about postcard marketing. You will become, I think you could become the top postcard marketer right now in this day and age, even though somebody has been doing it for the last 20 years. The thing is that agent that's been doing that for the last 20 years has probably just been doing it the same way for the last 20 years, and they're successful just from being consistent. But now you have the opportunity at your fingertips to watch YouTube videos, to buy the Dan Kennedy books, to buy whoever else has written anything on postcard marketing, to read blogs, and you would probably figure out an even better way to do it than the agent that has been doing it for 20 years, because they're just like, well, hey, this works for me. They're probably not as innovative as you can be right now. And that's really all we've done with YouTube, is that, there's agents that have been on the platform for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, but they've just been posting videos, not really understanding the back end, not really looking at the platform, not really digging into that. And that allowed us, someone like myself who gets overly obsessed with something and wants to, be the best at it, to come in and say, okay, I figured out all the hacks, not all the hacks, but I figured out a lot of them, and I'm still learning till this day to be able to implement a strategy and then to do it faster and scale, make it scalable. And it's just because I believe the information is out there. So now when we want to implement something, we're looking at who, not how. My first question is who are we going to get to do this? Because it shouldn't be me necessarily, right? I mean, my job is content, period. I need to make content, but we have so many other factors to make the business run and to scale the business. Doesn't have to be me. Now, maybe I dabble in it or start it out or get it started, to because I want to learn something about it or understand the process, or you bring in somebody from the get go who is an expert in that field, and you make it happen from there. So I think that's really how you start to do that. It goes back to the eating the elephant one bite at a time. It's really, if you take the time and energy and are intentional about scaling, you can scale accordingly, at least with YouTube, because, well, actually really with any business, because I don't know of many real estate agents or business owners in general that get flooded with business as soon as they turn the lights on. And I know that's the way it happens in our mind. That's what we expect, or that's what we want sometimes, or we think our first video is going to go viral, or we have to be perfect because our first video is going to go viral, or everybody's going to watch it, and then all of a sudden you get 5 views on that first video, and you're like, oh well, shit! I spent so much time being perfect, and only 5 people watched it. But at the next video, then you get 10. And the next video after that, you get 50 people. And the next video after that, you get 100 people. And that's what starts to scale. And as long as you put the systems and processes in place, as you grow, then you should be able to scale alongside your business. And it should be very simple from that. All of our triggers, all of our emails, all of our campaigns, all of our text messages, all of that stuff that we've built in to that CRM. I mean, I did 80-90% of that, because as soon as something broke or it didn't go well or we missed something, I just said, okay, we need a trigger for that, we need a campaign for that, we need an email for that, we need a text message for that, and I would do it right then and there. And it's when we put things off and let them go on the back burner and start to build up, is whenever we allow things to just slip away and build up and compound. What we don't do also compounds, just as video compounds and working out compounds and eating right compounds. When you don't do that stuff, it compounds as well. It compounds the opposite direction. So you have to choose every single day, what are you going to work on? What are you going to move towards? What do you want to compound? Whatever it is you want to compound, that's what you have to work towards every single day. So Chrissy, does that kind of answer that question?
I think so. I think pretty well. Well, and I was just going to add, going back to all of that, it's just like what you said. Massive action is something that you talk about all the time, but massive action doesn't mean you have to do everything at once. It means you just need to take consistent action on a massive vision that you commit to for the long haul. And so just one day at a time. And that's really how we started this whole thing out was, we figured out things that we needed to do and we'd get them done. And then we'd figure out how can we make this simpler by putting this into a system. Then we'd move past that next thing. And that's how the scaling started happening. It's just that one next step at a time. So I would just say going back to the channel itself, don't think of, maybe have the vision of what you want to have in a year from now, but don't be so obsessed with trying to find like, how can I put, all of the shorts together and the videos together and Instagram together, TikTok, Pinterest, don't do that all at once. Make a plan for it and then commit in small doses to getting that done so that you're there in a year, and make a plan for that.
Yep. Hey, Chrissy, can you see if you can get Melissa on stage? Melissa, I see you raised your hand. I guess I'm unable to bring you up right now, so you might need to leave the room and come back in. Or Chrissy, if you can send her an
Yeah, that
invite.
happened with me too. Yeah, that happened
Okay.
to me too. I tried to get her up here and she couldn't come up.
Okay. You could also, yeah, you can also hit us up on the chat if you want to throw something in the chat. If you're unable to come up on stage or don't want to come up on stage, feel free to ask a question in the chat. I would love to open this up. We want to hold this open for about 20 more minutes here, but if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand, come up on stage, or hit us up in the chat there if you have any questions in regards to what we're discussing today, which is kind of systems and scaling and, expanding your business from that standpoint. So, Chrissy, is there anything else that we should cover on that, or you think I didn't cover that we could?
Yeah, I mean, another thing that people kind of talk about in the scaling side is a lot of people who talk to me ask me about, how do I do this in a way where I'm not like copying someone, but I'm modeling it because, it's important to do things in your own power, your own skill set, right? And so what are some of your tips for just making sure that you're modeling and patterning instead of copying?
Well, I think that's the easy part. If you try to directly copy somebody, you're just gonna, it's not gonna look good. It's gonna be inauthentic. I think people can see right through that stuff. So there's nothing wrong with viewing other channels, getting ideas, inspiration, but ultimately it has to be your content. I think from a real estate agent, this is what I always share with people is like, you have all the content is in your head. It's there. If I came to your neighborhood right now today and asked you to show me around the neighborhood, tell me about it, and I'm thinking about buying a home, that real estate agent would probably talk my head off. It's funny because all agents are like, how do you make a 10 or 15-minute video? Well, first of all, I don't. I make 3 to 5 minute videos, and those get kind of pieced together to make a 15-minute video. So I'm not really talking for an entire 15 minutes, but you know I go to any agent's neighborhood, they would probably talk my head off, especially if I'm looking to buy a house. So that's the only difference, is that all video is communication and sales at scale. So that is a way to scale your business. There, on top of that, is through video. So because you just have to have that conversation with the camera. If I come to your neighborhood, you drive me around for 2 hours, show me 2 or 3 homes, talk about how much you love everything there, that conversation lives and dies with me. And as soon as I leave that day, nobody else is ever going to hear that conversation. So you have the choice. Two choices. Number one, you could document that. You could literally wear a microphone if you wanted to, and have a voice recorder or a camera in your car or something like that. And you could do that. You could, even if people don't ride with you, you could make content in between showing homes and things like that. But the thing is that if you sit down at the end of the day, and because it's fresh on your mind, you're like, oh, I just showed this client everywhere in Plano, Texas today. I just showed them everything they needed to know about Plano. Okay, well, at the end of the day, I go home and I hit record on a camera, and I just regurgitate that conversation I had with that client, basically pretended like, okay, that client's back in the car with me. Instead, they're sitting across from me, in the form of a camera. That's it. That lens is an eyeball, and I have that conversation, and I tell that camera everything I just told that client today about Plano. Now you've scaled yourself. Now you've duplicated yourself. Now you've compounded yourself, because that video, when it goes out, it has the potential to reach 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people. And that's how you scale yourself. So, let alone you think about scaling a business. If you ever want to scale yourself, that's the best way to do it, is through video. Because we always say, or people always say, right? Well, if I want things done right, I should just do them myself. Okay, well, you can get a partner, but that partner is not you, right? Nobody can talk about a neighborhood like you can talk about a neighborhood. And if you do that, you may get an idea from another real estate agent or content creator about how to structure your video, or maybe how to make a thumbnail, or how you do your title, or maybe there's somebody in your neighborhood and they've already made a video about Plano, Texas. It doesn't matter if they made a video about Plano, Texas, as long as you don't copy everything they said in that video and you just give your opinion, your story, your experience about Plano, Texas. That's how you do that. I mean, that you hopefully you have enough experience, and even if you've moved to a brand new market, you should get out and about. I mean, if you've just moved to a brand new market and you want to say, well, I don't know the market, I just moved here. Well, that you can use that to your advantage as well. Get out every single day. Go have lunch at a different place. Go check out a new area, a new neighborhood, a new suburb. And then you tell it from the perspective of, I just moved here myself, and this is what I'm learning. This is what I found out. This is what you want to avoid. This is what you shouldn't do. This is what you should do. Oh, you should check this out. You should go over to this place. You should do this. This community is really cool. What I've loved about what I've learned about this community. So, that's all your experience. But if you sit behind a computer, watch other people's videos, and then just try to copy it straight from there, it's going to make for a terrible video. It's going to come off as inauthentic. People are going to see right through it. It's not going to be good. So there's a difference between modeling success and copying success. It's funny, in our meeting this morning with Chrissy, what do we do, Chrissy? We pulled up we pulled up somebody's channel and talked about their thumbnails. Somebody else. They're actually not in the real estate space, but this was a creator that I met at the video conference this last week, and I was like, man, probably the best thumbnails I've seen. I just love the thumbnails. It's such a good look. So I was like, all right. And I told Chrissy this. I was like, look, I don't know if this is the direction we're going to move in, but I want us to start thinking in this manner, So again, we're looking at something for inspiration, for impact, but we're not going to copy what they're doing because his thumbnails fit his channel and his topic, period. But we can look at that and we can pull some sort of inspiration from that, and structure and, design technique or design ability. And nothing's wrong with that. And the thing is that nobody would ever probably even if we tried to, copy what he's doing, it's still going to look different. But also, because we're in different industries, probably nobody would even ever make the connection anyways. So it's not something that is really a big concern. But if you're worried about imposter syndrome or anything like that, guys, I didn't invent anything. There's been agents on YouTube for a while, and I just pieced everything together, hyper learned it, extensively researched, studied, put together a plan. That's all I did, and now, I've structured that into something easy to follow and a course, for our team members or other agents we partner with, or, people that join us, it's easy for them to follow, or, people that want to buy the course, then if they don't want to join us, we're always looking to grow and expand our team, but we also understand that not everybody wants to join our team, or not everybody's looking to be a part of our team, and that's okay. So that's why we, put together, a purchase option on there. But for those that want to partner with us and work with us, or partner with us in other states, then we provide all of that at no charge. But it also allows me to pass along everything I know about YouTube to our team members, and I don't have to teach them from scratch every single time, that they have a question, because that I know that course is going to answer 99% of their questions, and then I can help them, with the very unique questions or very specific questions. It makes it a lot easier from a scalability standpoint as well, and that's another way, actually, going back to scaling there as well, that I'm able to scale myself, because what I teach is I put in a structured course so that anyone on our team, doesn't matter if they're in Houston, Canada, California, the United, doesn't matter. They can follow that plan. And, because otherwise I would have to get on a Zoom call and then teach every single person, every single time, every single thing about that's not scalable. So, now, did that course take me time to put together? Yeah, took me 2 days. Did everything in like 2 days over about 10 hours each day. So 20 hours worth of time, but that 20 hours has made me so much time because I haven't had to explain YouTube to every single person that, wants to learn YouTube. So, but a lot of people will look at, oh, well, that I don't have time to take that 20 hours to put together something to give me back more time. Same thing with video. People say, I don't have 30 minutes to make a video, but that video could give you back days and weeks and months of your time. That's where people make mistakes, I believe, is they look at today's cost versus tomorrow's value. If I look at everything, what takes me time today versus what's going to be the return tomorrow, how will I ever truly scale myself or my business? It's going to be very difficult to do that. And so that's where you have to take a step back to take 4 steps forward. Just as I mentioned, traveling these last 2 months, going to all these conferences, I believe is the direct reflection on the hit for our transactions. I don't blame anybody else but myself. So, but on the other side, we've made tremendous friendships, relationships, met the right people. Like for example, this last conference where Sean Cannell threw our channel up on the screen. If we hadn't have been there, it wouldn't have been as impactful, right? Because we might have gotten some DMs and people might have reached out that way. But the fact that we were there in the audience and 25 different real estate agents were able to come up to us after that during the break, and we met them and had those discussions and got to hang out, and that's going to lead to more fruitful relationships and partnerships down the road because we were there. When we went to Tom Ferry in Nashville and I went to ask him a question on the microphone, and then he pulls me up on stage for 20 minutes, and I end up talking to everybody at a Tom Ferry conference for 20 minutes, and then that leads to Tom Ferry inviting us onto his podcast, which we recorded a couple of weeks ago. And, now that whole relationship and opportunity got established with Tom Ferry because we were at that conference. And this was one of his smaller conferences that not a lot of people were at. And I say not a lot of people. There was only like 1,000 or so, like 1,200 people compared to his 6,000 person conferences, right? So, but we were like, let's go to as many as possible. And because we were there and present, that opportunity happened. We were at a conference actually a couple of weeks before that and met some other high level people again. So the traveling over the last 2 months, we took a step back on transactions, but we were able to extend our brand, to extend our relationships, some partnerships, some opportunities, all that came out of that. And I think that will be more beneficial in the long run. So on paper right now, does it look like we took a little step back? Yeah, it does. And we did. But again, that's my fault. It's not the market. It's not the team. It's not anybody else. I take full responsibility for that. It's me. And it's like, I know what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back to, 3 videos a week, period, and that's what's going to happen. So now, if I do that and things don't change or shift back, well, then we'll have to look at things. But that's the thing is that you sometimes taking that step back to take 4 steps forward is what you need. So that goes into the money you make that it goes over what you're used to making or your salary. Stick with that. Pay yourself consistently. That way. What's that? Am I cutting out?
Yeah, now I
Are
can
you there,
hear you.
Chrissy? Can you hear me? Is
Yep, much better.
that better? Okay. All right. Well, I guess we don't have any questions today. So I think that pretty much sums it up. Let's see. I'll check the chat. Oh, okay. Melissa says, didn't mean to request to hop on stage. All right. So we don't. Oh, Olivia. Yeah. You're welcome for making your drive enjoyable. You're welcome. So, okay. Well, I guess no questions for today.
Like Jonathan.
Oh, except my man,
Yeah.
Jonathan. What's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Levi, I was curious with everything that's going on in the market. Do you guys? I know that you're kind of seeing like a little a shift, but you're kind of saying that it's at you guys' own design right there because of the content. Are you guys kind of seeing a shift in Dallas because of the real estate market, and are you guys getting impacted on the YouTube because of that, or is it because of the content?
No, I'm going to blame the content personally, but if you look at views, views and things like that are still pretty consistent. And in the conversations with the clients, there's been we've had several people that, now that mask mandates have been lifted, let's say in California, probably the biggest influx where we had people coming from, they're getting comfortable again, right? So people are like, well, without all these restrictions and mask mandates being lifted and things like that, they're like, I'm just going to stay put. So we've had several clients say that. We still have the same amount of people hovering around the channel. And what I mean by that is the views and the subscribers and things like that. So I believe with more content, that's more eyeballs, more opportunities, and therefore that will get us back on track to do that. So, but overall, yeah, we're still seeing, yeah, I mean, if homes are getting overpriced in Dallas right now, they're definitely not getting multiple offers or any offers. So we're seeing a little shift in that. But again, people make money in all markets, and it falls back on us then to adjust accordingly.
Thank you, boss.
Does that make
Appreciate you.
sense?
That was good info.
Yeah, have you run through the course yet?
Yes. I'm on day 31 right now on starting it up.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Did you say you started it or you're halfway through or what?
Yes. Yeah. I'm already started. I'm already full-fledged into it, and I'm on day 31 right now, and I think my 12th video is going to be uploaded today.
Awesome. And how did you find the course helpful?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. Just throwing it out there. So I'm glad you had a good answer on that
Best
one.
thing I ever did. But I appreciate you guys. I got to get off here. I have a meeting right now. I'm sitting in front of somebody, so thank you guys.
All right, you're welcome, man. Yeah, happy to have you. All right, guys. Well, I guess we don't have any other questions, so we'll wrap it up for today. Hopefully, you found some sort of value in my ramblings. So, anyways, we'll see you next time. Chrissy, anything you would like to close out with?
You said it best. Just keep on working at your channels and just keep on being consistent and you'll get there. And the scaling part of that will come as you go along, and things will present themselves at the right time too if you're following the model. So just keep doing what you're doing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all the help as always. And happy that you're a part of the team. And so to everyone else, we will see you next week. Thank you for joining us on today's podcast. If you're interested in partnering with us to access our YouTube course and coaching all for free, schedule a call at 5starstrategycall.com.